Good morning, everybody. I'm Jeremiah. I'm your song leader for today, and I'm going to get us started with some music, so please sit back and enjoy. Sometimes in our lives, we all have pain, we all have sorrow, but if we are wise, we know that there's always tomorrow. Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. Please swallow your pride if I have things you need to borrow, for no one can fill those of your needs that you don't let show. Lean on me, brother, when you need a hand, 'cause we all need somebody to lean on. I just might have a problem that you'll understand. We all need somebody to lean on. Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. All right, I had to rest my voice there. You want to sing it one more time with me? Here we go. Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. Now just call on me, sister, when you need a hand. We all need somebody to lean on. No, I just might have a problem that you'll understand. We all need somebody to lean on. Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. Good morning.
Thank you, Jeremiah. That's a great song and important message, and I'm sure the reason we are all here today. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Fayetteville. I'm Marty Fatak. I've been a member here for 32 years. And I know you're probably all saying he must have been so young when he joined that church. Just a little baby. Unitarian Universalism is a religious tradition that values freedom in religious thought and journey. We uphold the unity of our interconnections, connections to each other, to all of life, and to the precious universe of which we are a part. We affirm the universality of love and hope as we journey together in community, and we welcome you, whoever you are at this moment, and wherever you are on your spiritual journey. For those of you joining us online, with the camera somewhere, welcome. If you're new, please check out our website, uufayetteville.org, for more information. For those of you visiting us for the first time in person, You'll find a visitor information card in the seat back in front of you. We'd love for you to fill one out so we can get you on the email list and keep you informed of our events. Later in the service, we will have a time when you are invited to come forward and drop a stone, symbolizing your joy or concern into our bowl of water. If you have a joy or a concern that you'd like to share, we invite you to fill out one of the yellow cards on the back of their seat back in front of you. There's a place on there to indicate if you want your joy or concern shared aloud, or if you want it to be confidential and shared only with leadership. If you fill out a yellow card, you can bring that forward at the time to drop stones. If you are online, you may write your joys and concerns in the comments section there, but please note that all those comments will be public. If you have a need for hearing assistance, our AV Tech David can help you with that. Children are always welcome in the service, but there's a staff nursery available downstairs if you prefer. Please remember to silence your cell phones as we enter into our service. And today we have a special treat. We have an old friend, Reverend Ren Pasco is joining us to do our service today. Ren was an intern here several years ago, and then she was ordained at All Souls Church in Tulsa, and now is a community minister in Tulsa, Oklahoma. So we'll look forward to hearing from her today. Thank you.
Good morning. We're going to do our chalice lighting, so if everybody would join in. Love is the spirit of this community, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge and truth, to help one another, thus do we covenant together.
Good morning. May we come into this time of learning and reflection with open minds and open hearts. May we come into this time with a spirit of community and reflection. May we build ourselves and this community through this time together. May it be so.
All right. So we've got 3 different parts here to the round. I want to go through the whole song a couple of times and then invite you to start at different intervals, which are marked in the hymnal, but we're not seeing that here. So it's okay. Because the times that we would change would be every time it says gathered. Okay, so gathered here in the mystery of the hour, gathered here in one strong body. So the second part would start when everyone gets to the other. I'm not explaining it very well. Y'all been here before, right? Let's do this. We're going to sing the whole thing first, and then we'll split up. Gathered here in the mystery of the hour, gathered here in one strong body, gathered here in the struggle and the power. Spirit, draw near. Gathered here in the mystery of the hour, gathered here in the mystery of the hour, gathered here in one strong body, gathered here in the struggle and the power. Spirit, draw near. Gathered here in the mystery of the hour, gathered here in one strong body, gathered here in the struggle and the power. Spirit, draw near. Spirit, draw near. One more time, please. Spirit, draw near.
Our story for all ages today is called The Invisible String by Patrice Karst. And Ev is going to help me read this morning. Liza and Jeremy, the twins, were asleep one calm and quiet night. Suddenly, it began to rain very hard. Thunder rumbled until it got so loud that it woke them up.
"Mommy, Mommy," they cried out loud as they ran to her.
"Don't worry, you two. It's just the storm making all that noise. Go back to bed." That's me. I'm sorry. Sorry, Steve. That's me, you guys. "Don't worry, you two. It's just the storm making all that noise. Go back to bed."
"We want to stay close to you," said Jeremy. "We're scared."
Mom said, "You know we're always together, no matter what."
"But how can we be together when you're out here and we're in bed?"
Mom held something right in front of them and said, "This is how." Rubbing their sleepy eyes, the twins came closer to see what Mom was holding. I was about your age when my mommy first told me about the invisible string.
"I don't see a string," said Jeremy.
You don't need to see the invisible string. People who love each other are always connected by a very special string made of love.
"But if you can't see it, how do you know it's there?" asked Liza.
Even though you can't see it with your eyes, you can feel it with your heart and know that you are always connected to everyone you love. When you're at school and you miss me, your love travels all the way along the string until I feel it tug on my heart.
"And when you tug it right back, we feel it in our hearts," said Jeremy. "Does Jasper the cat have an invisible string?" Liza asked.
She sure does, said Mom.
"And best friends like me and Lucy?" asked Liza.
Best friends too.
"How far can a string reach?"
Anywhere and everywhere, Mom said.
"Would it reach me if I were a submarine captain deep in the ocean?" asked Jeremy.
Yes, Mom said. Even there.
"Or a mountain climber?"
Even there.
"A dancer in France?"
Even there.
"A jungle explorer?"
Even there.
"How about an astronaut out in space?"
Yes, even there.
Then Jeremy quietly asked, "Can my string reach all the way to Uncle Brian in heaven?"
Yes, even there.
"Does the string go away when you're mad at us?"
Never, said Mom. Love is stronger than anger, and as long as love is in your heart, the string will always be there. Even when you get older and can't agree about things like what movie to see, or what game to play in the back seat, or what time to go to bed. Oh, that's right, you two should be in bed. And with that, they all laughed as Mom chased the twins back to their beds. Within a few minutes, they were asleep, even though the storm was still making the same loud noises outside. As they slept, they started dreaming of all the invisible strings they have.
And all the strings their friends have?
And their friends have.
And their friends have?
Until everyone in the world was connected.
By invisible strings.
And from deep inside, they now could clearly see.
No one is ever alone.
Thank you.
As a community of people who care about each other, we share our various joys and concerns. We invite you to share your ups and downs as you desire. You can come to the front and drop a stone for any joy or concern, shared or confidential. As you drop the stone, may you experience the spreading of love and support. If you filled out a card, you can bring it to me. On the card, please indicate whether your comment is confidential or to be shared. If you need to stay where you are, feel free to raise the card so someone can get it and bring it up here for you. If you're attending virtually, you may write your joys and concerns in the comments at this time. Okay. So that's all the cards we have, but I'm sure there are joys and concerns in your hearts. Leander, would you please drop some stones for the joys and concerns that have been unexpressed today? And then please drop a couple more stones for the joys and concerns that will enter our lives this coming week. Please join me for a minute of silent meditation. Thank you. Thank you. When I joined here 32 years ago, this place didn't look like this. Right here over was the sanctuary. And here over was grass outside. It was outside. We are here today because of the efforts of our predecessors, not only for the building, but for the remodeling, the expansion, and all our predecessors contributed so that we have screens and cameras and microphones and chairs. We rely on their kindness and their generosity. And as we accept the offering today, I hope that the same kindness and generosity will be in your hearts.
I sought the Lord in summer, when every twig was green, the rudest boughs were tender, birds were pink between. Light-fingered aspens trembled, fitful sun and shade. Daffodils were golden in every starry glade. How frail a thing is beauty, I said, when every breath she gives the vagrant summer. This the stardust troubles, this have ages rolled, to deck the wood for bridal, and slay her with the cold. How such a thing is beauty, I cried, no bolt can slay, nor wave nor shock despoil her, nor ravishers dismay. The granite hills are slatted, the sea more like to fail. Behind the rose, the planet, the law behind the veil.
That was just beautiful. Thank you. have my grandmother's thumb. Not literally. I mean that my thumb looks just like hers. The curve, the nail shape, everything. I picked up British slang when I read a British teen novel series for a whole summer as a teen and still use a few words. I learned the word sporadic at 12 because it was my favorite author's favorite word. Now I use it sporadically. I'm attentive and asking and really listening to how service professionals like baristas and clerks are doing because of my internship at Children's Health in Dallas and how they emphasized it in employee training. There's a term that describes some of this behavior at its core, according to an article in Science Direct. Behavioral mimicry is defined as doing what others are doing and is performed without awareness or intention. Oops, sorry about that. I think for me, many things I take on for others start as behavioral mimicry, but then become something I notice and realize and love because it's from that person. When people do behavioral mimicry, it bonds people to each other. It tells the brain of the person being mimicked that the other person is safe and part of the in-group. The most pack animal part of our brains like when we see ourselves in others. It can be in the way we hold ourselves, the way we gesture at things. This pack view our brains do is also true of symbols, like a chalice necklace. A study conducted by Stanford shows that school children's friends' genes related to doing well in school can shape the friends who do not have that gene. This concept is called the social genetic effect. If a school child's friend has genes that means they are focused and study hard, it can influence the other child to do that behavior as well. These sort of genes are not deterministic, though. So if someone does poorly on a test, it's not just their genes' fault. We can't all use it as an excuse. Doing well is just a little harder, but still possible for that person. Who we are can change the trajectory of our life because of who we are around. People who are in our lives change us, even when they leave our lives at some point. In the musical Wicked, two characters part due to accomplishing their goals and morals differently, and they sing, "But I know who I am today because I knew you." The writer Schwartz commented after the show premiere that for the opening of the song, he asked his daughter what she would say if she was never to see her best friend again, and her answer became the verse "For good." There are people we have to part from, sometimes for our mental health or our physical health, sometimes due to death, sometimes due to physical distance. There are other people we drift from friendship with at no one's fault. And there are yet other people we hurt who need to separate from us. Whatever the case, those people who leave our lives or who we leave the lives of have still changed us. Maybe they taught us who we don't want to be. Maybe they showed us part of ourselves to fix. Some people in our lives are there to learn from or to teach to, but not for always. People in our lives for a time change us too. That's just how being in human relationships of all kinds is like. Throughout time, people have been changed by their relationship with other people. Early Homo sapiens, having children with early Neanderthals, literally changed our current DNA of the overall population. An article by the National History Museum in London states, despite going extinct around 40,000 years ago, the genes of Neanderthals are still found in humans today. The article goes on to say, if Neanderthal genes helped Homo sapiens to adapt to their new surroundings, then it would be expected for the genes to increase in frequency in the genome. When the genes were disadvantaged, they would be rapidly removed. In total, they found 347 Neanderthal genes that were at high frequencies in genomes of living and early Homo sapiens. This suggests they were immediately beneficial to our ancestors' skin color, immunity, and nervous systems adapted to the world outside of Africa. These Neanderthal genes still have implications for humans today. Neanderthal genes have been linked to a variety of characteristics, from hair color to being a morning person, and may also be linked to health conditions such as diabetes. Because early Homo sapiens knew Neanderthals, they and many current people have been changed. Some changes are good things, and some are not, like health conditions. Neanderthals and Homo sapiens also shared cultural connections. There is limited evidence suggesting some burial practices and toolmaking may have overlapped between the two species and meant they influenced one another. Sharing culture and influencing one another has always been a part of being human. Today, orangutans take on tool use like hammers, nails, and saws from humans, as well as soap use from humans, as well as teaching it for years and years afterwards to future orangutans. It is at the core of us being primates as well that we learn from others and carry on those things we gain from knowing someone else. People can also have their minds changed or perspectives broadened with relationships. When I participated in interfaith groups as a teen that All Souls Unitarian Church in Tulsa took the youth to, one key phrase used was something like, "It's hard to hate those you break bread with." There are actual studies that show that if you eat a meal together, it is literally harder for your brain to hate that person, even when they're different from you. Relationships change our view of people who are not like us when we haven't known anyone like that before. If we know people at one level, they are no longer just a group of this or an identity of that. They are people who are just like us, and just like our families and friends. Most religions also implore people to help those in times of need. This means by being part of religious groups, we are changed, both by the cultural expectation of giving and kindness, and then by actually moving forward and doing so. When we know about a problem like people being unhoused or hungry or abused, it may change how we interact with all people, as we learn that anyone in our community can be facing hard things that we are not aware of. For UUs, our values of a shared covenant with love at the center guides us into situations to bring justice, equity, generosity, and interdependence. When we can center these and other UU values in our lives, kindness towards others feels obvious, even if it isn't always easy on our harder days. It's important for us to notice the learnings and changes in ourselves when people in our lives are from a different culture, race, background, or other difference from us. The things we can learn from those around us who are different than us can make us kinder and more compassionate people in the world. The things we carry from knowing other people aren't all rainbows and sunshine and good memories. People also leave us with bad emotional baggage and habits. Sometimes people who die aren't saints. When we must leave friendships or relationships for our emotional or physical safety, often there are negative things left with us from those. The coping skills that help us through trauma aren't always things we want to hold on to either. They may work for a time, but not for our whole lives. So our task in these instances, when we have something not useful from people in our lives, is to find ways to let the people, the coping skill, the trauma response go. This can be through therapy, through forging new positive connections, and so much more. But what is a constant is that we must do the work to let the bad parts not be a part of us. In cases of complex human relationship that end, there's an understandable tendency to forget the good lessons, to forget the happy and helpful times when the relationship ends. In Taylor Swift's song Happiness, she says, "There'll be happiness after you, but there was happiness because of you too." Both of these things can be true. I think in that vein, remembering what we got out of a relationship of any kind can teach us what love we need for our joy and our growth in the future. It isn't always a binary, good or bad, when most human relationships end. People who have hurt me have taught me red flags, yes, but they've also shown me the things I need that made them a healing friend or partner in the first place. Those appealing things remain true and okay, even when that person isn't a good person to continue forward in life with. We can still learn and grow from this knowledge. We can also change and influence those around us. It's important that we realize our power to change the people we love and know, as well as those we interact with, more briefly, for good, for always. When we are kind and helpful in our jobs, volunteer work, school life, grocery store trips, and so much more, we signal to those around us to show up that way in the world as well. We can have an impact on kindness and other traits in our world that are so needed, even in the smallest of interactions. Berkeley University did a study on how witnessing kindness changes a person. Witnessing. At first, they considered if it was behavioral mimicry that made this kindness happen. But the article states that they found that the witnesses of kindness often helped in ways that did not match what they observed. For example, participants who might have witnessed a person giving aid to someone who fell on the street ended up donating more to a charity when given the opportunity to pay it forward. They found that people resonate with the underlying reason for doing good and become motivated themselves to spread the goodness that they've seen. This suggests people are pro-social by nature, waiting for inspiration to act. They found that this act could be by someone in a TV show, in a book, or a person in the world. It is important, therefore, to be the kindness people can see in the world and to surround ourselves with kind people, kind media influences, and all sorts of kindness that we can see. Ralph Waldo Emerson once said, "You cannot do a kindness too soon, for you never know how soon it will be too late." Whether you believe in a higher power or nature and the earth or humanity or something else that is your core belief, there is reason to notice and love the good changes that people have on us, to care for our trauma and release it in healthy ways when someone harms us, to be a good role model to others. Many people have talked about this concept, but I first learned it from Rev Marlin at All Souls. No matter how our beliefs are, he said, we have the choice to create heaven or hell on earth. What we do can create heaven or hell for the people we interact with every single day. I believe our choices of whose influence we keep and how we influence others also do just that. When we choose kindness and helpfulness for the people around us, we show them there's a different way to be. Anne Frank said, "You can always give something, even if it's only kindness." Even in the worst of circumstances, we can be kind to one another. This isn't to say we won't make mistakes or have bad days where we're snappy or short with someone, but then we have the chance to model apologies. Modeling kindness doesn't have to be modeling perfection. It doesn't have to be doing it right every time. It is showing up and trying each and every day that we live. These things that we get from those we love and those we observe can be our biggest joys. They can remind us of people who've passed on, people who've moved away, and people who aren't healthy for our lives, but still changed us in ways that make us who we are today. These things we get from others can teach us, can change us, can shape who we are. These things we give to others through our actions can bring us pride in who we are and a better earth that we share in helping others see a kinder way. We can change the world one person at a time. Mr. Rogers once said, "Try your best to make goodness attractive. That's one of the toughest assignments you'll ever be given." As you go through your week, I encourage you to notice the things you've learned or inherited from other people. Your nose, your laugh, the way you hold a pen, the way you love animals, or the way that you interact with the world. It can be big or small things. Acknowledge that connection in your mind. Hold that person, that place, those things in your mind, and the ways that you've been changed that you see in your week going forward. even if you don't still know that person, because you knew them or were related to them, you were changed for good. Something about you still holds that piece of something about them. It can even be someone further back in your lineage and how learning about them changed you. There are so many things that make us who we are. Think also, as you go through your interactions this week, about how what you do changes and influences others, and how you can have the most positive impact on those you see every day, whether it be through big or small things. Each action we make, be it holding a door or saying thank you or complimenting someone's hair, changes the way that people feel in the world. May what you do bring love, hope, kindness, and joy that model to others so that everyone may follow and we may have a kinder world.
All right, this song has 4 parts, and I'm going to sing all 4 parts twice, and then I'm going to invite you to pick one, okay? So, all right, so they're all pretty simple. They're not very long or anything. Let's see if we can learn this together. It's pretty fun, actually. Let's see. Yeah. Where do we come from? What are we? Where are we going? Where do we come from? What are we? Where are we going? Where do we come from? Where do we come from? Mystery, mystery, life is a riddle and a mystery. Mystery, mystery, life is a riddle and a mystery. Where do we come from? Where are we going? Where do we come from? Where are we going? There it is, all 4. Do you have a favorite yet? Let's try all of them together. Pick one. Here we go. Where do we come from? Where are we? Where are we going? Where do we come from? Where are we? What are we going? You can change anytime you want. Where do we come from? Where are we going? Where do we come from? Where are we going? Where do we come from? What are we? Where are we going? Where do we come from? What are we? Where are we going? Mystery, mystery, life is a riddle and a mystery. Where do we come from? Where are we going? Where do we come from? Where are we going?
Please join me while we extinguish our chalice. We extinguish this flame but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we hurry in our hearts until we are together again.
Thank you. Thank you, Jeremiah. Thank you, Reverend Pasco. It's an important message. I guess those invisible strings are real, and they really connect all of us together. And now I feel better about you guys forgiving me for all my Neanderthal genes. So I know you'll. Reverend Pasco?
We have spent time learning together in this loving space. May we take kindness, curiosity, and all the things we have gained into this world in this week and beyond. May we hold this time together until this group meets again and hold those lessons in kindness and make the larger world more like this space.